Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond and how to get out of Babylon. Yeah, I am tired, and it's all Pastor Joe's fault. No, I had about half a night's sleep, had a weird dream, got up, and I didn't get up. I did some research, and that triggered a thought, and one thing led to another, and I got up and called a friend who wants to come out and help me for an entire year, one of my subscribers. Need more people like that. Made a couple calls. One of my tablets died. Now I don't have a computer. I don't have one tablet. I'm down to a tablet and a phone. So anyway. And then I've got to get some sleep. So lo and behold, I'm on my email, and Pastor Joe has to go and send this Patreon listing out link. However he does it, I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to keep it brief. There's a circle there, and this is titled Circles. And in the middle is me. Me, myself, and I. That's about all most people seems to be able to cover. Me, myself, and I. Anyway, that's not the way it should be. So I'm pretty much just going to read this and then let it go. I mean, I could do a lot of talking on this subject because this is what I am. The word diamond in Hebrew has to do with circles. I kid you not. It has to do with being a watchman, building a wall around a circular area and keeping watch over that region. Hebrew. Yeah. Mind-boggling how accurate and how amazingly intricately detailed it is about what I am doing. Words to the wise, I guess. I don't know. If you like me, fine. If you hate me, sucks for you. Diamond is hard. It's adamantine. And you might just get hurt. It's also very sharp. But everybody should know that. Okay, anyway. Enough. All right. One can tell the greatness of a man by the size of the circle he draws around himself. In other words, a good man thinks about more than just himself. This, of course, goes for women as well. But it is more complicated than that for most of us. Most of us, whether we realize it or not, discriminate, rank, order, and favor some over others. This is not a bad thing. It is a key component of tribe. There is us and everyone else. The other is defined by we. But it is not so simple. It is not black and white. It is not just us and them, and the more you realize and recognize that, the better off you will be. In the center is me. That's you. You. You should like yourself. You should be important to yourself. If not, you need to fix yourself. There's something that some people can take to heart. There are many people whose circle starts and ends with me. We call these people, oh boy, does this hit home. Not anymore, but very close. We call these people socio or psychopaths. People who only think about themselves. They live in a meocentric universe, as a friend of mine said. As a first responder, we were correctly taught that we needed to take care of ourselves before we could help anyone else. We were also taught not to take risks and then fail and become part of the problem, another problem, instead of part of the solution. So recognize that it is fine. It is important that you are in the center of the circle. Next layer, next circle outwards, is those you love more dearly than any others in the world. The ones when push comes to shove, you choose them over anyone else. 4 people are starving. You can only save 1. Who is it? To many, this is family. immediate household family. But for many of us, it includes others. Beyond that is clan, kin, or perhaps community. Think Hamlet. May want to look up Dunbar's number. In the USA today, there is not much in the way of community solidarity. Modern civilization thinks this is no longer necessary, and we do other things instead, like join Facebook groups, become Vikings here, and so on. These are false relationships, and this will become apparent in the future. We are spiritual beings, but we inhabit the meat world, and we need to operate at that level. When this thin veneer of civilization is wiped away, probably in a very rapid fashion, blink of an eye, all people will be left with, relationship-wise, is the meat world. Beyond that circle depends on the politics of what is happening, but I believe tribes will come back. What most people today call tribe is at most a band. Unfortunately, in reality, even these bands call themselves tribes. That call themselves tribes are just social clubs, hobby groups, coffee clutches. I think we are in for major, massive, irrevocable change. I believe when that change comes, it will come extremely fast. When it happens, people will finally truly understand shock and awe. People will form circles. Those who do not will not make it. Even those who do will not just traipse through daisies whilst observing butterflies and smelling honeysuckle. Those who enter into the chaos will firmly designed and strengthened circles will do much, much better than those who are currently stumbling through life more concerned with their Facebook friends than they are with their neighbor or their partner or whoever or the other people in their house. Define your circles, work to strengthen them. Pastor Joe Fox. ISYOT. I should be able to translate that, and I apologize. It's probably something that he does. Took me a while to figure out choomp. Come out of her, my people. Choomp, or however you say it. All right, so, yeah. If you're on Facebook, if you think you have 2,000 or 3,000 Facebook friends, they're not friends. That's so stupid. If they don't live in the same neighborhood, if they don't live in the same block, if they don't live within walking distance or very short driving distance, 8 miles is a long ways, even with a car. I can count the number of times that I see people that are living 8 miles away on one hand in a given year. If they're 30 miles away, maybe once a year, maybe twice. That's it. So, anyway, community means living close to one another and helping one another, not planning on hurting one another, not planning on, gee. And I've heard this from a guy of Christians, Christian men, Christian preparedness men, planning on killing the other guy and taking his stuff. Yeah, if that's all you can think about is your stuff, if that's all you're worried about is what you own and your stoves and your whatever the heck, your tents and teepees and, I mean, I'm just stuff that I have, but I mean, I'm willing to share, There's a young man that was desperately wanting to come out here for weeks that I just mentioned. I called him this morning and he said, hey, tent's fine. I said, it's not even cold yet, and I've got the gear to do it. I've got the stoves, I've got everything I need. I've got 2 genuine, Cheyenne teepees. Military hex tents, Korean War tents. They lived in those at 40 below zero in Korea. It has never gotten that cold here, and it probably never will, even with the grand solar minimum winter coming at us. So, anyway, just if we're not going to help other people, if we don't have in our minds to be able to help other people, to want to help other people, and just thinking about ourselves, might as well just give it up now. I mean, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about y'all. You know, if you're going to sit out there across the country, sit on your stuff, wait for, I don't know, what are you waiting for? The rapture? Good luck with that. Let me know how it works out for you. I mean, I do not understand what people are waiting for. So, but anyway, as far as the circle thing, I didn't do much, with it. But, the OzArk Plateau, I've said before, the basin of rivers around it is a circular region, very interestingly. And the OzArk Plateau is directly in the center of the United States, of the future landmass of the United States, the Craton. It is 500 miles from the Rocky Mountains. It is 500 miles from the Appalachians. It is 500 miles from Canada, and it is 500 miles from Mexico. Do you think that was an accident? I think not. Okay? It was designed, it was created, perfectly designed and created as a gigantic fortress. It encompasses about 50-some thousand square miles. Some writers, some Wikipedia articles say 93,000 miles, but square miles, but 50,000 miles is a long ways. You go out to the river basins, it may be 90,000 miles, but point being is, circular region, there's a circle, and many, many, many years ago, back to 2000 or so, I saw that. And I went, well, if nobody else will oversee this operation or help with this operation, I'll do that. So there you go. All these years later, and all the trials and tribulations I've been through, I'm still here. Y'all are invited, but I'll say this again: don't bring your garbage with you. Do not bring your personal sins and your personal. I mean, come ye sinners, poor and needy. Absolutely. But don't plan on bringing your Torah breaking, things that are capital crimes in Torah, let's put it that way. At least don't plan on coming around with a lot of that stuff as baggage. Dig a hole. Torah says when you go take a dump, you dig a hole and you bury it. Do that before you come. Leave your own personal beliefs, your own systems, your own ideas, your own crap where you're at. And then come out. Everybody's invited. There's going to be a wedding feast. And this is the gathering for the kingdom of Yahweh. So I've done videos on the manifesto for the OzArk Plateau there in the top left. Pastor Joe Fox did me a good interview. OzArk Refuge, he called it. I've done a series on directives for the OzArk Plateau. I've done a lot of other series on comparing the OzArk Plateau to the Pacific Northwest Redoubt State. Don't get me started. Okay, stop it. Shut up. I think that was the last one I had to... Oh, a circle. Oddly enough, many years before, 10 years or better before I looked up the Hebrew word diamond, I first started quoting this back in 2010 or 11, 9, 10 or 11, and I would just quote it, copy and paste it. Well, then I took the time, I actually cut out a circle and taped it to the screen, and then I made it so all the words would fit. And this kind of, you see some of this, how I did it with periods and dots and spaces and everything. So I made it into a circle. And 3 times in here, it uses the word circle. So what Pastor Joe is saying, yes, is very, very true. A good man draws a circle around himself and cares for those within his woman, his children. Other men draw a larger circle and bring within their brothers and sisters. But some men have a greater destiny. They must draw around themselves a circle that includes many, many more. Your father was one of those men. You must decide for yourself whether you are as well. Tick, tick. To delay in the movie 10,000 BC. Very powerful, powerful statement. And that's my signature, has been since I first read it. I mean, I just took that, I immediately adopted it as my signature, and then about a couple years later, made it into a circle. So that's my circle. My circle is the OzArk Plateau, out to the river basins, 120 mile radius. Pretty big circle. So anyway, thanks, Pastor Joe, for costing me a couple, 3-4 hours sleep. Somebody thank Pastor Joe for me, because he doesn't listen to me. Or, I write him. I know he's probably got 100,000 by now, easily. That's pretty awesome. Just so glad that everybody said he was going to lose half his subscribers when he went on Patreon. Instead of going for, I think he was something like 15 when he went on. Now he's got 100. Yeah, that really hurt him badly, didn't it? So I'm hoping it will hurt me as badly when I figure everything out and get it going. So I'm going to start reading books. I'll probably start reading one here just for a little girl here that said, "Tell me a story." So I started telling her a Chronicles of Narnia story. I thought, hey, how about if I just read it to you? So anyway, this is extremely serious, though, because this circle thing, if you don't have it in your mentality, if it's not in your concept of, being able to fathom the idea of being unselfish and helping other people, in my estimation, 90% of all preppers and survivalists are basically sociopathic, psychopathic. They're going to die because selfishness will kill itself. There's just no other way about it. And I'm seeing that in people's lives that I've been in contact with recently. If you're going to be up for yourself and try to damage everybody else around you, you're not going to make it. If you drive people away, that was the whole import of that test I was working on right before Tabernacles. I was doing that survival IQ, survival quotient test. And never to get back to doing that, finishing it up. I did all the, some prefatory stuff, and then I never to get back to it, so I need to try to do that. The test itself was pretty simple, but basically the idea is if you're pushing people away, you have somebody that is a very well-prepared person that has a lot of things that, people would need. Be able to heal people, filter water, start fires, keep people warm, keep people sheltered. And if you're pushing them away, by being overbearing or threatening or whatever, you're taking your own life in your hands. It makes no sense. So we need to be able to be open, caring, loving, humble, and patient with other people. And it's hard. There are people who are adults who act very childlike. And, it's just, you can try to be patient, but there comes a time when a child has to have some kind of discipline. There has to be some kind of a border. There has to be some kind of a parameter, an edge beyond which you don't go. And if you consistently go beyond that edge, then you're endangering yourself. Maybe you're endangering somebody else. When the sign says, "Don't climb the fence," there's a cliff. You don't scramble up on the fence, jump over the fence, and go wandering along the edge. It's just not intelligent. But that's what people do in their relationships with other people. And, cutting them off and sending them away and, sending them packing. So anyway, all right. We need to be patient with each other, and it's a challenge. I mean, I'm not 12 years old. Well, by saying I'm not 12 years old, you just acted like a 12-year-old. Don't talk to me like that. a child says things in that tone of voice. Don't talk to me like that, you know. I mean, we need to grow up, and we need to be patient with those who are, you know, have issues for whatever reason. So we need to be encompassing, and that means a circle. So I'll leave it at that. So I'm hoping this, you know, will help some people. And I just felt, especially, you know, between the thing that Pastor Joe did the thing on circles, and it's a major theme in my thinking, huge theme, like all-encompassing theme in my thinking, along with the fact that the video I did earlier about the mass arrest coming up in martial law, y'all might consider giving some thought to who are you going to be spending time with if you're in martial law. If there are curfews, give us some thought, you know. Who do you want to spend that time with? Let's say the power is shut off, which may very well happen. Believe me, I know from Special Forces, it's what they do. So we'll see if this can go down peacefully or not. If it doesn't go down peacefully, Katie, bar the door, it's going to be all hell to pay in this country. And there will be a lot of blood in the streets. But it's a total crapshoot as far as I'm concerned. Because you got the Antifa with their already, you know, illegal, gross, sick. There's just too much to go into. There's too many angles, an infinitude of angles that you could look at this whole thing from, and I'm not going to do it. Not now, not with my voice, and not with the fact that I need to get some sleep. So, all right, that's it. I hope you're listening. I hope somebody listens. So, this is Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant. Good night.